Greetings and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Run, and today we're playing as Eve. One thing I really like doing as Eve early on is playing very aggressively. I try to use my Razor Blade as soon as possible so I can get that damage boost from the Razor Blade, also from my transformation, and also from Angry Bird. I mean Dead Bird, I always mix those two up. And also my Dead Bird, so then I can kind of rely on those to deal damage for me, or at least have some increased damage, and that just makes the first floor go by so much easier and so much faster. What's also great, even though you're at 1 red health, just because you do have Dead Bird, you can rely on that to deal some passive damage for you, where you're hiding maybe in the corner somewhere or whatever. It can just deal a lot of damage for you and essentially kill the whole room for you. And when you exit it, you still are in this position where you have the Whore of Babylon activated, and that does just allow you to kind of reposition yourself just a little bit and then use that damage boost to kind of just deal with enemies a lot faster. Especially on the first floor, I would say that there are some enemies which can be quite dangerous, but in most cases you can get away with it by just being at 1 red health and just having a lot of damage, because usually you would kill enemies in 1 or at most 2 hits. Not a lot of enemies actually take 3 hits to kill, but if they do, they're usually weak, or at least they're maybe not that dangerous to you. So it's a good strategy. It pays off sometimes. It definitely did get me killed a few times, but in this case I decided not to use my Razor Blade so aggressively. First of all, I died in my previous 2 dailies, so if I died again, I think that would be quite embarrassing. But also, it was Curse of Darkness, we were on Burning Basement 1, so the visibility was super low. You never know where a spider might come from, especially on my computer, on my screen, because everything is so dark. I just really don't see a lot of the enemies which are just wandering about. But to kind of seal the deal, we were fighting the Haunt in that low visibility environment. And the Haunt is already super unpredictable. He's one of the bosses which I really don't enjoy fighting. I don't get how you're supposed to fight him, or at least I feel like I have the strategy down. You have to be like really patient in order not to get hit. And of course that can be quite hard, especially if you have a lot of things going on at once. But mostly the little ghosts are super unpredictable, and they can just hit you 2 times easily in a single fight before you actually dispose of them. And in a situation where you only have 1 red health, even if you get hit once, you'll be put in this very tense state where you will feel like you have to perform some super dodges, and obviously that can be quite difficult sometimes, so usually the tension ends up killing you. So having 2 full red hearts as opposed to 1, I feel is not only better because obviously you have more health, but also it's better like from a psychological effect. You don't feel as much in danger as you would if you only had less HP. So that's probably the good reason why I went into the fight with 2 full red hearts. And even when I got hit twice, I think I got hit once by the little ghost and once by the big ghost, so the Haunt himself. I then transformed, and then I was actually able to utilize my damage. So in this case, I only got hit twice as opposed to dying, which I always feel like is a good deal, because obviously that just means your run is ending, and 2 hits are maybe like 500 points of damage multi at most if you go to the end, so it's not that bad, all in all. Still, we were in a pretty good position after that. Thankfully, the first floor did go a bit slow, but the second floor did pick up the pace just a little bit. It was quite short, but we also got a ton of HP ups in total. I think we had 4 HP from 2 when we entered the Devil Deal, and I was able to trade those 4 HP away for 2 particular good Devil Deals. We got what is called Spirit of the Night, and we also got Dark Palm. And Dark Palm is obviously great. He trades away your red health, and he leaves you in a position where you essentially have infinite HP, and you can use that to kind of do whatever with it. What's also great about it is that we were actually able to trade our HP away to be left at 1 red HP, which means that our Whore of Babylon state transformation was always triggered, so we didn't really have to worry about maybe damage from that point onward, or at least we didn't have to worry about using our Razor Blade to stay in that state. So we were off to a good position there, but also Spirit of Night, it gives you flight, which is already great. I would say that's worth 2 hearts already, but it gives you Spectral Tears, and I feel like Spectral Tears is severely underappreciated by a lot of people in the community who are playing the game. Spectral Tears, sure, they might seem useless, but I feel like in a lot of situations they can end up being so great because there are so many rooms which just include enemies which are maybe a bit nasty. They hide behind the rocks, you can't really hit them, you kind of have to spend a lot of time just getting to them, and even if you do, you're still left in a very, very vulnerable position because you still have to maybe dodge the rocks while you're actually doing something else. Obviously with flight you don't really have to worry about that, but having Spectral Tears I feel like leaves you in such a good position, because not only can you hit enemies through rocks, they can't hit you back, and I feel like overall it's so much safer and so much easier that I think it's worth 1 red heart, which you trade for Ouija board, and of course Ouija board does give you only Spectral Tears, so I think that's a good deal, and I would always pick it up. Of course, if you have Tears, if you have something like Brimstone, there's no point in picking it up because you already have Spectral Tears, but Nevertheless, I hope the point I'm trying to make stands. I think Spectral Tears are really good. They do provide some very nice safe insurance, I guess, and they leave you in a position where you can deal with some rooms much easier. We had a lot of interesting decisions in this round. Obviously, the items that we got early on were great, but later on, we had some items which maybe are a bit ubiquitous. We got the deck of cards, which is obviously great because you can just keep using that. And eventually you're going to get some cards which are going to increase your consumables, or maybe they're going to give you teleport cards, and that's always good, and just the utility of it, especially with the other deck of cards. I just call everything deck of cards, but essentially one is an active item which gives you cards, and one is a passive item which gives you 2 slots and turns every pill into a card. So the combination of those two I feel like is a really good, especially with Card Battery and with Tarot Cloth. That would mean that essentially every time we would get 2 cards, and every time we use a card, we would get 2 uses out of that card. It's a great combo, it's a great synergy, so to say, but I decided to go against it because I felt like, even though we were in a good position from a damage standpoint, with Magic Mushroom obviously and all of that, I still felt like we weren't strong enough to actually tackle with Boss Rush and complete it fast enough, so I decided to stick with Shoop the Whoop. I'm not really sure if the Card Battery effect Shoop the Whoop, I don't see why it wouldn't, but I never noticed a significant difference but before picking up a Card Battery with Shoop the Whoop and not picking it up. Maybe there's something to do because both beams shoot at the same time, which means that the enemies have the same invisibility frame, so it doesn't seem like you're doing any more damage, or maybe you do, but I just, like I said, didn't notice it. But Shoop the Whoop is great for boss rush. If it doesn't kill bosses outright, which it probably wouldn't because our damage isn't that high, it still deals a significant amount of damage to both of them, because obviously it does shoot to one and goes to the other, so it has penetrative shots. So if you can line them up, you essentially take 80% of the whole HP of the boss pool down in a single wave, and then you're just gonna leave the rest to your tiers. And because, like I said, we do have some damage, that wasn't too difficult to actually get by with. So I thought that was a good decision in this case, and I definitely think it was a good decision to stick with it. Even though we probably lost on some swag bonus and consumable bonus, I still feel like just the extra added potential of having 9V combined with Shoop the Whoop allowed us to use it in every single room, and that just gives us great room clear, and it just allows us to go much faster. So all in all, I would say that was a good decision, even though we did miss on a pretty good synergy. Later on, of course, we got some more damage ups, like the Pentagram and Chocolate Milk. And Chocolate Milk doesn't seem like a damage up, but it is, because it does allow you, I think, to charge up pretty fast to a much higher damage, and it does allow you to control your tiers, which is something I'm a big fan of. We threw it all away. I decided to take the 1 dice room, and not for no particular reason, I just thought it might be fun. I usually don't do this on dailies that I feel are going well, and I did feel like this one was going well just because of some of the decisions I made, but I decided, there's no fun in just not using it, so I might as well, and I transformed into one of the best runs I've had in a long time. We had this Tractor Beam marked combo, which isn't that great, but just because of the shot, we had triple shot with the bones, and also our damage was ridiculously high. We had 33 damage, which I think is due to Proptosis and also probably some other damage items. So we were just killing enemies super fast. You can see how fast Blue Baby died. He didn't really stand a chance. We also had homing shots, which has no effect, and some other maybe $3 bill or something like that. So that did allow us to have quite a nice assortment of tiers. They were really colorful, and it was also really powerful. Colorful, powerful. That those two words are kind of rhymey. So I don't know what the point was I was trying to make, but we finished in a very good spot in 53rd, and I can tell you how good it feels to actually finish a run in the top 50 after you've died in 2 dailies in a row. So I'm really happy about the score. Our overall score was 47,000, which I feel is decent. I would say around 50,000 is probably the best you can hope for on a run that goes to Blue Baby, but 47,000 isn't too far off. Maybe our swag bonus could have been higher if he maybe took a different path, and our damage penalty could have been definitely a bit lower. Item penalty, I feel it was very good considering item rank was pretty decent, so I definitely feel like the Chaos card in this situation helped a lot, and I'm not sure if everyone had the money to actually pick up the deck of cards, or it's not a deck of cards, the passive item which gives you 2 cards, and I think I got a Chaos card out of that, or at least one of the jobs that came later. So if you didn't pick up that item, it might have happened that you didn't find the Chaos card, which means that immediately your time penalty is gonna be higher because you need to take the time to kill Hush, but also your damage penalty is gonna be higher, because Harsh does usually hit you at least once or twice, but of course with Chaos you just throw it and that's it, you don't really have to worry about it. But all in all, a very decent run, I enjoyed it immensely. I'm glad we finished, and especially after that reroll, we were just in a crazy synergy combo, which I haven't experienced before, and that's always fun whenever you find a new synergy, the ability to experience it and just to see what's going on. I hope you enjoyed this one, guys, and I hope to see you next time.